Blog Talk Radio.
Trapped on an island with nothing to do. What games would you take there with you? With no one else around, you could go insane without your desert island games. Everyone is tuning in. Jail 76 Gaming.
The videator who will challenge you is Electric Eddie. He was just a normal Joe whose life and games playing changed when he was hit by lightning. Now his face is so hideous he has to hide it. Can you unmask the master of disaster?
Please welcome Electric Eddie!
And Gamesworld delivers another shocker in the sense of Electric Eddie with 10,000 megawatts streaming through that body. He is shocking to the touch and the king of the console.
It's Monday night, and that means only one thing. It's time for Desert Island Games Live. Tonight, I've got a very special guest. His name is Rob Nathan, but you may know him as Electric Eddie from the 90s video game show Gamesworld. Welcome, Rob, or can I call you Electric Eddie?
You know what? You can call me whatever you like, but at the end of the day, let me tell you this. On a week where Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena and shocked the world, even bigger shock is the return of the original live wire of Gamesworld, which was Electric Eddie for the first time. I speak in 20 years. My thoughts, my views, I know you're all going to want to listen and listen good and lap it all up, people. Hey, actually... yeah, that was Eddie, but I'm Nathan too. So nice to be on here, mate. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's such an honour to have you on.
Don't be silly. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
It's good to know you've got split personalities there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's an everyday thing that most people in my family have to put up with. Not just Electric Eddie voice, but other voices and other impressions. I'm pretty hard to live with and work with.
I'm sure you entertain everybody.
Yeah, I try to. But you know, that voice is totally underused these days. It should be someone. I should be doing radio commercials or something with a voice like that. It's $1 million voice.
I've got goosebumps, you know, just listening.
There you go. It's, people, you maybe later you'll want to ask me something. Say it in the Eddie voice. Do a different phrase or something in the Electric Eddie voice. But no, it's all just all a laugh these days. It's nice to be remembered, even if it's 3 or 4 people. It's nice to be remembered.
Well, I know it was 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, as I say, it was a shock to my wife when I took her back to my house for the first time and put the VHS tape on. Do you remember this? I was like, no, I think I was 10 at the time, and 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 she's Irish, and she doesn't. I didn't think they had Sky One back in 1994 in Ireland. So never mind.
I thought you were going to say they do televisions.
No, well, yeah, they do. I think they just called up with flat screen. So yeah, they're doing all right.
No, funny enough, I was talking to my wife before we come on, and I said, do you know who my guest is tonight on the show? I said, did you ever watch Gamesworld on Sky One? She went, nope. I went, okay then, you'll not know who he is.
Never mind, but hey, this is the beauty of the internet now. You can educate her with YouTube.
Well, yeah, and talking about educating, I'm going to just give a bit of background on Gamesworld for those of the people who have not heard of it. I mean, the people of our age obviously will have heard of it, but maybe the younger generation might have passed them by. But hopefully there'll be plenty of older guys like us that will remember it. Anyway, yeah. Gamesworld ran for 4 series, and correct me if I'm wrong any mistakes here, between 1993 and 1998. It was presented by Bob Mills, and later, I think in the last years, it was presented by Andy Collins. Yeah, that's right. The show ran each weekday on Sky One from 1993 to 1998. Youngsters would take part in video game competitions, and the winners would move on to the final on a Friday, where they would stake points on certain games, where they would compete against the videators, such as Big Boy Barry.
Who?
Big Boy Barry.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. The Ninja.
Gary Harrod used to work for Computer and Video Games. Yeah.
The
Best
games
kept secret. The Games Mistress. Yeah. Well, she wasn't a video, but yeah, they used. Yeah, she came in at 50 quid an hour.
The Executioner.
Executioner. Yeah. You said that one, Gary Harrod. One sec. Georgina, make me a cup of tea. That's the voice I use when I want something. She told me to shut up.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. Sorry, John. Carry on.
And the man we have here tonight, Electric Eddie.
Yep, that was me, the one that was, the man in the iron mask, as they also called me, or the man in the tea strainer, which was used as part of the mask, which people have great pleasure reminding me that it was part of the mask was the tea strainer. Indeed.
No expense spared then.
No, but really, actually quite a funky design when you look back. One of the guys I work with.
The videator who will challenge you is.
Oh, my bad.
That was me. Big guy at work that I work with now. He has great pleasure in saying that the mask reminds him of Slipknot. And 20 years ago, it was quite a funky design. And I just wish I had the mask. Still wish I had the mask, because they do this event in Milton Keynes called Collectomania, where some really big stars still, but some people that no one remembers, like that was in one episode of Star Trek, and they all sit at a counter and like pray that someone recognises them and get an autograph for £25. So if I had the mask, I could go and do that in Milton Keynes, because that would be fantastic. That'd be a great gig.
Can we not get somebody to make you up a new mask?
You never know. If someone's good out there with plaster of Paris or paper mache, which I think is actually what it was, then yeah, we could do it again. I'd love to have another mask. I'd love to. It was made by a guy called Jake, who was a very talented runner, I think, or associate producer on Barry's show, and he made it. I remember. I didn't like it at the time. Obviously, I was vain. I wanted my face on TV. But back then it was devastating for me. I didn't want to wear a bloody mask. But in the end of the day, people remember me for that than anything else. So it was a blessing, but I didn't see it at the time.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening that is handy with paper mache and such like, then please make Rob a new mask. Please
make me a new mask so I can do Collectomania in Milton Keynes and earn some money.
Yeah.
On the side.
So. Carrying on with the Gamesworld background, the winners would receive a Gamesworld bomber jacket. I wonder if any of them are going on eBay. Whilst the overall series winner would receive an arcade machine. Is that right?
They used to do a show and basically they receive everything, everything up on on the totem pole. It was like a totem pole. 360, Panasonic 3DO and games, Sega Mega Drive 32X and games, and the higher it went up, the top prize up the top was the arcade machine. But if they won the arcade machine, then they won everything below it as well, which was good, but obviously they only got to a certain point, then they'd only win that. But if they won the arcade machine, they'd win everything.
Brilliant.
Bless you.
Sorry. That would be brilliant prizes.
Yeah, well, look, in the 90s, to win an arcade machine and a Mega Drive 32X and a Panasonic 3DO and everything. It was fantastic, it was amazing. There were some great, don't forget, with the budget that Gamesworld had, there was a tiny budget. There were some wicked prizes, And I must just say, something that really shocked me. Can I talk, or do you need
Absolutely,
to?
You carry on.
Something that really shocked me was the guy that I played in the final. His name was James Wayman. He was the eventual winner. He died 3 years after the show, and I only found this out about a month or two ago when his father. I did footage of James. His father, he commented on the video, and he said, this is wonderful memories of my son James, who died in 1997. And I just thought I couldn't believe it. I was really shocked. I was very, very sad. I felt this. Absolutely. I'm not a very emotional man, but I really, really got upset. I didn't know, and it just brought everything back to me about how lucky a lot of us are, and that we've all gone on living. I've always thought of him over the years, because I've seen the grand final a few times, and I've always thought of him. I thought, wonder what he's doing now. And to hear that he died 3 years later was just really touched home. It really did. And I just again want to extend my condolences to his father, Alan.
and I hope it brings him a lot of joy to watch James on YouTube, and he's got that forever of him moment for him.
Yeah, actually it's sad. I didn't know that myself, so I'll echo your comment there. I mean that's good. I mean, obviously, by the sense of things, the dad didn't have that footage before, so it's good that you brought that to him as well.
Yeah, it was just nice to know that it gave him some comfort,
Good.
Yeah.
Right, and just finishing up on that, it also says here that the show became the highest rated British produced TV show on Sky One, beaten only by The Simpsons and WWF Wrestling.
Well, there you go, and I think Electric Eddie would have been fantastic on WWE. But there you go.
It would have been, yeah.
I just didn't have the steroid contacts at the time. Now I'm great. I'm ready to go. No, I'm joking. I'm drug free. I'm fat more than anything these days.
And yourself, Electric Eddie, you appeared in series 2 and 3.
I appeared on series 1 as a contestant. I gave advice and games and did a few tidbits for them on season 1. I didn't do anything in season 2. I did have an audition for season 2, which was a really crappy audition, where they just spoke to me in a hall and went, "Who are you?" And I went, "I'm Rob Nathan." And they went, "Oh, what are you here for?" I went, "Oh, well, I'm supposed to be auditioning to be a videotaker." And they went, "Oh, go and play that researcher over there." So I smashed the researcher on the games. And I came back to sit down, and she was like, "Well, yeah, well, we'll be in touch." And I was like, "Okay, don't you want to know about my character?" "No, we know, we've got all your letters." And then nothing came of it. And I was like, "Oh, man." So I sat out season 2, and then I made a mission to get back onto season 3, and I just banged their door down until they gave me a proper audition, and then I got back on for it season 3. So I had involvement with it on season 1, and then I was a videator season 3.
Yeah, you've kind of preempted a couple of my questions. Actually, I was going to ask.
Sorry.
Not at all. You've kind of. But I was going to ask, how did you get involved with it? And did you have any input into the creation of the character? But I think you've kind of. It was just the character was your idea. Then? Yeah.
The character was my idea. The character. The Electric Eddie was my character. I thought, if I'm going to make an impact and I'm going to, and I want to do this, I need to be heard. So I made my own character. I set about making my own character. I know that David Walliams from Little Britain fame, he made all the other characters, and but I was the only one that created my own character, which I know he didn't like. But I did it, and then I went on, and I went up, and I was like, "Hey, Electric Eddie, listen to me. You're going to pick me this time." And I did all the voice, and I was like, and they loved it. They really enjoyed it. And so yeah, I bugged them for like 9 months. From the beginning, from literally halfway through season 2 to the to season 3 casting, I bugged them just to give me a shot. And I got to know the producers, and because I'd done work for them in their offices, they used me as a bit of a guinea pig. I thought, right, if you're going to do that, you're going to pay the price. And once I started to know names, I just bugged the hell out of them until they gave me a proper audition. I was really young and really determined back then, before life ground me down, and I just did it like that, and I wasn't to be denied. Let's put it that way.
So you've lost all your drive now, is that what you're saying?
Have I lost all my drive? No, for the right opportunities. But I'm just a very tired man these days. Wife. Well, I'm not a wife. I'm a husband. Husband and father of Mad Joshua, 3 years old, Electric Eddie Jr. Currently training him to be a very good games player. He's 3 years old, loves Luigi's Mansion, and playing that quite well. And he's very good on the iPhones and the iPads, and very handy with a mouse. His favourite game, I would say, is Super Mario 64, one of his dad's favourites.
So you're teaching them the old games then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's growing up on the retro.
I think that's good. Getting the youngsters into the retro.
Mm.
We've got a couple of young guys on Retrounlim here called the Little Retro Brothers, and it's I can't remember their ages. I think it's something like 6 or 8 years old or something there. And their dad obviously does all the work. The two little boys are the kind of frontmen of the show, and they're showing everybody their kind of pickups and all their retro systems and things like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for the future, so that me and him can play when he's 16 and I'm however old. But my wife's always been an avid gamer as well, and she's been my backseat gamer for many years, and we've clocked a lot of games together. Especially before Josh was born, we played a lot more together. We did the Yakuza series, and we did the Resident Evils, and we had a great time. And she's very good. I'm kind of the good player, and she's the thinker. She kind of tells me where to go, and I go and do it, and it works. We're a good team.
Teamwork, I like it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, did you, before you auditioned for this, had you done anything like this before?
No, not really. I mean, I was always quite a gregarious kid, and I was always centre of attention, which is wanted to be anyway. Just my nature, very showmanship, and I saw it as an opportunity to do something positive, and I always wanted to act, and I always wanted to entertain and everything, and I saw this as a route in, and it was a bit like a dog with a bone, but I'd done school plays and dramas, but nothing, but this was professionally, the first semi-professionally anyways, the first thing I really did as a performer. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favourite memory from the show at all?
Favourite memory? That's really good. Yeah, I've got a couple. The first one was probably just getting to know Bob Mills and him warming to me, and we had a really good relationship, and he, just his warmness as a person, and to accept me into kind of the Gamesworld family, and he wasn't very, he made himself quite distant to a lot of the other presenters, people, but for some reason he took a shine to me, and we hit it off, and that was important to me. I wanted to have a good rapport with him. That was great, and probably my favourite memory on stage, just absolutely decimating someone on Smash Tennis, complete whitewash, and this poor kid called Assad, and that was by far my finest performance.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just great memories. It was a fantastic time, so young and carefree. When all that it was whether or not I was going to win or lose on a game of Street Fighter. You can't beat that kind of freedom.
Yeah, you took it real seriously, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I mean, probably to a fault, because I didn't realise there are such scrupulous people in that industry, and I was just this kid that wanted to do well. That's all that mattered to me, was to be successful, and but I wasn't an arse to anybody. I just wanted to be successful and do it and win and entertain, and I felt I was very professional for a young man to be like that. But again, probably to my detriment, it didn't pan out, because you get the evil eye, and then people start creating politics. And I was just an 18-year-old kid. I wanted to win, and I wanted to be the best. And in that environment, probably wasn't too well received. But whatever, man. I just wanted to do it. I loved it. I lived and breathed it for the time I was in it, and I was pretty good at it.
Yeah, indeed. I've seen a few shows myself, and some of the kids looked a bit scared.
The kids were scared, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna create a show like that, and you're gonna have a bunch of presenters / performers, make sure these presenters or performers are decent. Pick people off the street and just put them in a cowboy outfit, or and if they can't act, do the research. Don't just pull anyone in. And I felt that, aside from me and Alex on the show, there wasn't anyone there that was a performer. There was nobody there. And yeah, it's going to be hard to find a performer that can play games and act and perform. You either had one or the other. You had either a good actor, or you had someone that was a good game player. You very rarely had the both. And I think when I come along and I challenged Alex with that kind of I can make an impact. Kids will listen to me. It was good. We had a little bit of competition going, and I just thought, I was disappointed. I wanted to be challenged by the other members of the cast, but they were all just flat. They were all just They just delivered their lines like it was on a piece of paper, and it was just I wanted it to be a really big deal. So I did my very best to make it that way. But I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I missed it. I want to come back.
Yeah, I know that feeling exactly. I've, as I said earlier on, I think it was before the show, I've got a kind of job that I used to love that I would go back to in a minute. So yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, I'm 38 now, but You know, I kept myself in pretty good shape. I still could rock the Electric Eddie gear.
Sure, you could. Still in touch with him, Bob Mills?
No, last time I saw him was actually about 10 years later. I was in Muswell Hill, and we bumped into each other in Littlewoods before that went defunct, and gave me a big hug and asked me what I was up to. And lovely. He lives around that area. Lovely man, and he recognised me instantly and couldn't believe it. And he was all shocked. And just a testament to what a nice person he is. Unlike the arsehole David Walliams, who never liked anybody or spoke to anybody, even back then on Gamesworld when he wasn't even properly famous. But that set him up in good stead. The guy, you know. But Bob is just Bob was just one of the blokes. He was just, you know, if you were that, you know, he was tuned into you. If he knew you were genuine, then he was genuine to you. If he knew you were fake, he didn't want to know you. Yeah,
he looks like a man's man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Diamond. I would love to say hello to him again.
Ooh. Maybe I should get in touch with him and try and get him on the show.
There you go. Yeah,
track him down. Let's track him down.
It was good for Bob. You know, he did it. He was professional. I don't think he really enjoyed video games or that. You know, sometimes behind the scenes he looked a bit tired and a bit fed up, but he approached it like a proper professional. You know, every show he did, and it wasn't his bag. You know, he was a comedian. But you know, he was there for 3 seasons, and he made it. You know, he made it what it was.
Yeah. I was going to say something. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Don't worry, I quite often lose my train of thought. But what I was going to say was, I've just had a brilliant idea. Have you ever seen the show with Justin Lee Collins in it? Bring back the A-Team, bring back Dallas and all that.
Oh right, yeah.
Why don't we get Justin Lee Collins on it and, you know, bring back Gamesworld?
Oh, do you know, it'd be so funny even just to do like this Where Are They Now, and you know, or make a documentary of this little show called Gamesworld, and try and catch up with these people and interview them like they're down on hard times and go, yeah, well, you know, I was doing this show and, you know, everything was going well. Now I'm in Tesco's and, you know, it's been 20 years, and it would be so funny to like do like a parody of it. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, I know somebody that would actually be very keen to make that happen as well.
Oh well, there you go. Yeah. You know, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
But oh geez, well, yeah, crazy. It's such a cult following. It was it's so many kooky people. I had this complete nutter. He actually followed me around like some of the trade shows in 1995 when we went up on stage as videators at one of these trade shows in Earl's Court, and he waited for me to come off stage, and then he like approached me, and I didn't have my mask on or anything. I was just doing this little session, and he was like, "Is that you, Eddie? Is that you? Is that really you?" And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you know, I'm your biggest fan. You know, I live in Bolton, but, you know, can I write to you? You know, because it was like 1995. We didn't have mobile phones back then. Well, some people did, flash bastards, but we didn't have them. He was like, "Oh, you know, can I write to you? You know, you're into wrestling, you know, because I'm really into wrestling. If I could write you a letter like every couple of weeks." And I was like, yeah. I was so naive. I was like, yeah, take my address. Oof. Anyway, this carried on, and he started writing me letters. You know, he's this mad fan. So I wrote to him back. I was so naive. And he was like, "Well, I was just wondering, you know, can me and my girlfriend come round, you know, and see you and visit you?" And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, probably. And he had my bloody address, didn't he?
Of course.
So he came. So one day I get this phone call. He's like, from a phone box. He's like, "Hiya, Rob, it's James. Yeah, me and Claire. Yeah, we're in Stanmore." And that's where I used to live. And I would be like, okay. All right, I'll just check with my mum to see if you can come in there. And he turned up with this girl, right? And she was like this punk-looking girl. She had like fishnet stockings on and like really thick makeup and bright pink hair. And she, you know, totally. I was completely not used to seeing women like this. I was only like sort of 18 years old, and I was just like, oh my God, she looks like a prostitute. I don't know what to do. And I was like, what's my mum going to say? And, you know, she was sitting in my bedroom with him, and he's like, oh wow, you know, look at your S figures, this is great. And I was like, I have to get these people out of my house as soon as possible. So I just like took them around the town, and then I took them to like Harrow on the Hill station after about an hour. And I was like, yeah, if you get a train here, you probably get back to where you need to be. And I kind of shuffled them, and off they went back to Bolton. Thanks very much for coming, James. And that was absolutely surreal. And he wrote to me a few more times after that. And he always used to do these little drawings. And, oh, good God, yeah. The trappings of fame, I tell you. Absolutely shocking.
Let that to be a lesson to you people. If you become famous, don't give people your address.
Now I know why celebrities write back to crazed fans on Twitter. Electric Eddie Twitter. No, it hasn't happened yet.
We should get one for Electric Eddie. What would Electric Eddie say on his Twitter?
I don't know. It's probably like, greetings humanoids. Here's my latest link to YouTube, and I hope you enjoy it. This one happened 20 years ago today. It just made me feel old, Yeah, check out this link from 20 years ago. You'll really enjoy this one. I don't know. I don't know how many people would respond to that one. Maybe I'd get a retweet here and there. Who knows? Yeah, definitely. Anyway, I've got a couple of questions coming in. Sorry to bombard you with questions. But, I don't mind. I've got a couple of questions coming in. I can find them. Yeah. One of them was from Retrounlim himself. Just go back to something we were saying earlier on about the Electric Eddie characters and how it's your idea. Did you have any other ideas for characters that didn't pan out? Yeah, I did, and I did. I had some scripts that I gave in, and ways that they could utilize me, because obviously I wanted to expand the Electric Eddie network, but obviously it all fell on deaf ears. But as I said, that was politics. But I actually created this character called Suave Silver, and this was a character that I wanted to also do, but they didn't see the value in it. But he was just this really arrogant. He was just this really arrogant guy who was just had the costume design and everything, and it was way better than some of the other stuff that was churned out, some of the 2D ideas that they had, like the Persian Prince and the console cowboy and things like that. Just, it was an insult to kids, even like 12-year-olds. They didn't want to see stuff like that. And I was more the sort of the American wrestling type. So I just created characters that would be like really controversial and heel, and that would wind the fans up. And, and the character was kind of like a toned down Electric Eddie. He spoke with like this kind of voice, and he was more Midwest American, and he was going to be really insulting to children. And you can't beat me. What are you talking about? This is Suave Silver. And it was really sort of WWF style, but Electric Eddie came along, and I think I kind of wrote it for them. I kind of gimmicked it. I was like, right, if you can't see the value in it, I'm going to give you a really two-dimensional character. So I did Electric Eddie, and then I thought, right, now I'm in as Electric Eddie. I'll turn him 3D, and I'll turn him, everything you think it's going to be, it's not going to be, because they wanted me to. The character didn't have a mask. We'd taken all the photos and all shoots without the mask, and then they were like, and then some brain of Britain, obviously, because I had such a handsome face, some brain of Britain didn't want me to be on TV, so they went, I think we should put a mask on him because, that will make him more electric. Well, no, it won't. It will just make me look like a douche robot. Yeah? So then they were like, you've got to wear a mask now. I was like, all right then. So I was quite controversial after that. I kind of, I said things and I did things that pissed people off, and then because I thought you're going to get it now, and then they had to go down, but then they'd be like, cut, Rob, no, you can't say that. Can you do it again? I was like, oh yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, I'll do another one. And so yeah, it was. I did have ideas, and I wanted to be, quite. Not controversial all the time. I just wanted to be inventive, and but they didn't want that. They just wanted boring. There was a time when I lost my game, which was just before the grand final, and I suffered a loss. Not my fault, actually. But actually, funny to say that. Sorry to stop you there. Funny to say that, because that was one of the questions I've got from Harry Ack. Go on, Harry. All right, Harry. Nice one. He's asking you to expand. Give us an inside story on that loss. Okay, well, let's do spill personality time. Let me do a little subtle Electric Eddie voice. this snarls little kid who I'll never forget him. He had acne, all right, and he had a really big spot on the end of his nose when he played Electric Eddie. If you want to play the best videator on the planet, the last thing you want on the day of filming is to turn up and look like a complete idiot. Big red pustule on the end of your nose, and that's all people remember him for. Okay, let me tell you that. Nobody remembers Electric Eddie losing because Electric Eddie's not a loser, but this loser had a big pustule on the end of his. And what happened was he played as Chun-Li and I played as Ken, and Ravi Chopra, who was the producer, one of the associate producers at the time, he came over, bless his heart, and he was like, he's a Brummy. Oh, he's from Wolverhampton, but I can't do a Wolverhampton accent, so I'll do a Brummy accent. He went, Rob, just before we set up, do you need your buttons changed or anything? And I was like, actually, Rav, yeah, I do. I can't play with the hard punch and the hard kick here. I was like, can you? He's like, it's a 3DO version. I don't think I can change the buttons. It's a demo. And I was like, joking me. So it wasn't even a complete game. And this little fella, this little kid, he kept using this Chun-Li move on me, and I couldn't get to the grips with it. I couldn't drag and punch. I couldn't do anything. And in the end, I just gave up on it, and I just couldn't. And he ended up like turning me over, and it was the greatest moment of that kid's life. All right, let me tell you that. He won't go on to do anything else other than beat Electric Eddie. Tell his grandkids, and fair play to the kid. Actually, he won it. But it was really bizarre that we'd been playing Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo for like the past 6 months, but for some reason they wanted to do a 3DO version that hardly looked any different, just because it looked a little bit better than the arcade, and it wasn't even finished. It wasn't a complete version. You had to play that. Unbelievable.
I think it was a fix. I think they set you up.
Mate, don't even go there. I could write a book on it.
Dear me.
Never mind.
Thank you, Harry Yak, for that question.
Yeah, nice one, Harry. Speak to you soon.
He has got one more question for you, actually.
Go for it.
But
I love Harry.
Oh, everybody loves Harry.
We love Harry.
By the way, he said that Gamesworld should have its own teletext page.
Yeah, fits the module. It fits the model, definitely.
Oh, I see you. I see you put your Electric Eddie teletext as your logo on Facebook.
Yep, I actually removed me and my wife for that. So be very proud, Harry, of that superb piece of artwork. That's going to stay there for at least a week. I said to Georgina, actually, my missus, a canvas of that. She was like, F no. So
not very supportive, is she?
No, that's as I say, I don't. Bless her. I think she wants Electric Eddie. She wants Rob for herself these days. She doesn't want me to get famous again, or do anything that might prize her away from me. But I wouldn't. I'll always come home to her. I told her that.
Just tell her about the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bless her heart. She's a wonderful wife. I'm very lucky, but. That side of me, she doesn't like the performance side, because I genuinely think she thinks, oh God, if Rob does something or he goes on TV or he does something again, he's going to love it. It's going to overtake his life. She knows I'll always have time for her and Joshua. They're my priority. They're my everything. But I just think she sometimes thinks, oh God, I don't want to get disturbed in the street. We live very quiet lives. When we go home, we shut the door. We're very in each other's little bubble. I'm not a very sociable person outside of my work. I keep a very small. I keep very private. With my family, and I think she'd hate to have that disrupted. Bless her, but but yeah, it is what it is.
Anywho, that wasn't the question.
No. What was the question?
The question was, now, Harry Yak, I hope you're not trying to be controversial and setting me up here, but the question is, would you ever get a tattoo from Dave Perry?
Yes, I would. I like Dave Perry. I had nothing but good things to say about Dave. I see it as it. I always call it like it is, and people might vilify me for that, but Dave Perry was a diamond geezer. I liked him on the show. He was respectful to me. He was misunderstood by a lot of producers and again, extremely misunderstood. And I think that happened on Games Master with him as well. Between him and Dominic Diamond, I think there was a lot of needle. there was, I think, again, Dave's failings was the fact that he was just a nice guy and honest. And I think in that industry, you can't be. And I saw Dave a couple of years later, and he came up to me, shook my hand, and he said, "Hey, Rob, how are you?" And he had all the time in the world for me. He let me contribute on the Gamesworld magazine, which he was the editor of, and I would certainly get my arse tattooed from Dave Perry.
Excellent. You can get a Electric Eddie tattoo on your arse then.
Yeah, or any other part of my body. I'd let him do it all along.
Right. Okay, so there's just something else I want to touch on before we, that sounded wrong the way I said that. Talk about, before we move on to the games, because we are here to talk about games, believe it or not.
Are we?
Well, maybe not.
I don't know.
And, well, you were saying to me earlier on that you've created some music.
Yeah. I was a musician for many years after Gamesworld. Yep.
So I've got a music that you sent me earlier on. I've got a 30-second clip. But when was it? When was it you did this?
What this was from around 2003 to about 2007. I recorded an album, and I worked with a couple of different producers. It took me to Los Angeles, and it took me around to places, and I did gigs in places I never thought I would do. I was on a management deal, but I didn't stay on management deal. I didn't like that they were promoting me, and then things just fizzled out, man. I had a lot of gigs. I had actual interest from a couple of very well-known singers in the industry. Again, timings and things put things on the back burner, and it just never got where I wanted to go with it. But it was picking up steam at one point, and hey, it's just one of those things. I'm happy. Maybe one day my music will be used in other people who could sing the songs. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Maybe published in one day. I'm not sure. But yeah, I enjoyed. I loved doing it. It was great.
Okay, well, this might be a Desert Island Games exclusive, but I'm going to play a short clip. Kind of 30-second clip of the song that you sent me earlier on.
Yeah, no worries.
Here we go.
I've got this feeling that you're feeling that it's not what it should be. Such a shame, it's like a mystery. The calls have stopped and names are dropped, and so you wanted to be free. Got your message, it's not you, it's me.
There you go.
Well, there you go. You see, in this day and age when there's so much rubbish in the charts, now you tell me that couldn't get into the top 10. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm a rock fan, right? But but I appreciate all genres of music. But I was listening to this earlier on, and I thought to myself, that doesn't sound any different from the kind of pins that get into the charts. That I could imagine that being a single.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, no, it's in all seriousness, I appreciate that comment. I appreciate it very much. But the thing is, it is timing and it's luck and it's who you know. And there were songs that I sang that were critiqued by industry professionals, and they said this song could go anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And it's a shame, but it wasn't meant to be. Not at this time, not at this point in time. But something that maybe later on down the line I'll readdress and I'll refocus on. But right now the priority is work. But I was passionate about it, and I'm a good songwriter, and maybe one day I'll be able to reach some more creativity and do something with the right person. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So it's that kind of R&B? Would you describe that as R&B?
It was like a pop R&B style.
Yeah.
One of my producers, he's worked all over the world with sort of Annie Lennox, the Eurythmics, Peter Gabriel, and he's also a musician himself, and a lot of the beats were kind of inspired by hip hop and R&B, and I sounded so high pitched in that clip. It was even more high pitched than I remember. But my voice has matured a lot actually over the last 7 or 8 years. And when I'm at home and I sing in the car and I do sing a lot of rock, and I do sing all different genres of music. From System of a Down to everything. And I've got quite a musical range of what I like. And I listen to Kate Bush. I listen to as I say, System. I listen to But a lot of my stuff, Metallica. I'll listen to all different. It's I think our CD, Fleetwood Mac. There's so many. My wife she's for her age, she's into a lot of old stuff music. A lot of 70s, 80s.
I'm into a lot of 70s and 80s. I mean, I like things like Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
They do like what's the name song now? they done the original Proud Mary, that one that Tina Turner made famous, and they done the Bad Moon Rising and all that.
Oh right, okay.
I like their stuff, and I'm kind of classic rock, but I've kind of developed a little kind of guilty pleasure, if you like, for like R&B and things like that. Because when I used to work at a radio station, one of my friends was a DJ, and he used to come in and make all these mixes while we worked, and it's like all R&B stuff. So,
yeah. I mean, R&B for me isn't a genre I can sit and listen to for very long. I was always listening to a lot of rap. I listened to a lot of Tupac, and back in a few decades ago and a decade ago or so, and a lot of different rappers, and so as I say, from rap to rock, it didn't matter to me. I took a lot of inspiration in a lot of beats I heard and a lot of lyrics I heard, and I think the more genres you listen to and that you're influenced to, it's going to come out in your music.
Yeah, I like a bit of Goldie and Chain myself. One of the guys was on the show a few shows ago.
I heard about that. Yeah. He's a nice guy, isn't he?
Oh, he's such a nice guy and professional. Just such a genuinely funny guy as well. Just
that's it. That's right. You don't want guests to bore the arse of you.
Like yourself.
Like myself. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
No, you're a genuine funny guy as well.
I'm going grey guns tonight. I think everyone's asleep now, aren't they? It's early night.
Not at all. No, you're also funny. Don't worry about that.
Oh, bless your heart. I did dabble in comedy as well. Well, that's another story.
Oh,
that's another story.
I'm losing my train of thought again. I think we better move on to the games soon. Before we run out of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really loved hearing all the stories about Gamesworld.
I've got tons, hundreds. We'll do it again sometime.
We'll do more. We'll fit it all in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll fit it all in. I think we'll move on to the games now.
Let's do it.
I've got an niggling feeling that I was going to say something, but it's totally gone now. So
you'll remember it later if it's important.
I do it all the time.
Let me say, in true celebrity mode tonight I am. I've actually been drinking while I've been speaking to you a cup of tea made by my wife, and my sister-in-law brought back a frappuccino, which she forgot completely about and went upstairs with my wife. And I've been drinking the both of them simultaneously.
Wow.
And I think they've gone upstairs to play the Lego Movie game on the PlayStation 3. But these kids of today, they play all the modern games. Let's talk retro games.
Yes, and these games you've given me looks as if they're in chronological order. So
they are, aren't I considerate?
Yeah, very much so.
See how I did that for you?
In fact, some people come on and they don't even tell me the games beforehand. So it's good to get
ridiculous. You'll get nothing but professionalism off of me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Okay, so the first game is a Spectrum game, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is.
And it's called Little Computer People.
Oh, yeah.
And this came out in 1985, didn't it?
It certainly did, yeah. Showing my age now. When I was a mere 9 years old.
I was quite intrigued when I read up on it. I mean, I've not played it myself, which is quite typical of me, but it's a like living your life kind of game, like The Sims.
Yeah, well, it was an incredible leap forward, and at the time people didn't realise how much, and I truly believe that it set off a massive chain of events that carried on in the 90s and even to this day about how we're playing games and this virtual reality kind of world that we live in now, and it paved the way. A lot of the games you'll see have paved the way for other games and the industry. And Little Computer People come along, and it was controversial because some people just well, it's not a game. It's not a game. You kind of just sit and watch it. But it was the first. It was the first bit of software that you had this pretend living being in your console, in your computer, on your TV, and I have a Spectrum 1 to 8K version, and what that did, you could load up the game from cassette, and you could load it time and time again. It didn't matter, and every time you loaded it, you got a different character that would come in and look around the house, and it was. When you liked the character that you wanted, you could then save the game and you would keep that character. But you had like a house. I mean, people can Google it, or computer people. You had a house and it had a bar, toilet, and you could see it all. It's all open plan. And the little man goes up the stairs and he does a wee. And the little man, he goes to bed. And you got to feed him. He's also got a dog. You got to feed the dog. You got to put logs in the fire and light the fire. He writes to you on a typewriter. You can play cards with him. If you neglect him, he gets sad. And for a 9-year-old child, that grew up with much older sisters, so I was kind of like an only child. It was an incredible experience. It's kind of like the first virtual experience I had with this little man inside my TV, and it captured my imagination in such a way that it remains very, very close to my heart.
Sounds absolutely awesome.
It was. For a 9-year-old, it was an incredible experience.
And it was developed and published by Activision, a great company.
That's right, an absolutely fantastic company. And, I was lucky because I used to nag my parents all the time. I was a little bit spoiled. And I didn't want a Spectrum 48K. I wanted a Spectrum 1 to 8K, baby. And I got this thing. And the 1 to 8K version was great because it gave you all these different characters. It was like a longer version. If you had the Commodore 64 or the Amstrad version and you loaded it up, you only ever got one character and they came in the house and then you'd have to play it. You never got all these other different type of characters that you could choose and save from, and it was really random. The Spectrum version, it would give you people with different personalities, and that the Spectrum version was the only version, to my knowledge, that had that, and I thought that was incredible. I really did. I was a bit of was just a bit of a nerd back then, and I thought that was amazing. And he was my little friend in the computer. It was wonderful.
So instead of the likes of me having an imaginary friend, you had an actual friend living inside your computer.
Yeah, I did one better than you, mate. I actually had a friend when I was 9, and he was called Stan, and he lived, in my Spectrum, John, and I loved him.
This also got a release for the Amiga, so I would imagine that game would have had a few characters in it as well.
Yeah, I don't remember much of the Amiga version because by that time I was like 14, 15, and I was like copying games with my friends in it, and I was really like into different kinds of genres of games, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't, I'm the guy that when I like someone at something, I'm not a big fan of reboots or things like that,
Yeah.
When it was made again for the Amiga, I think I tried to get hold of a copy and I was unsuccessful. I couldn't get it. It only had like a limited release or something. But the Spectrum one remained close to my heart, and I prefer. And then I just thought, oh, do you know what? It beats that, and I just kept it close to my heart, and I didn't bother with the Amiga. I was too busy with other games on the Amiga.
It's really cool. I mean, I've been reading up on it, and it's just the idea behind it. It's really, really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, God Almighty, it's like 30 years ago. For this guy to develop it was genius, because then the Tamagotchis came along and all of this other stuff that made an absolute fortune, and this poor guy probably made bugger all, or nothing like it. But he had the vision. It's a bit like. It's a bit like Windows with the Amiga Workbench. Amiga Workbench was and Windows came along and it developed from the Amiga Workbench. And the guy that created that probably did nothing. And then there's Bill Gates sitting on top of his millions. So it's sometimes someone that is an innovator doesn't get the credit they deserve, and then somebody comes along, makes it a little bit better, or does something in the right time, and they're multimillionaires,
Yeah, the Sims is the obvious one to think of here, isn't it?
Which one?
The Sims.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look at The Sims. I mean, yeah, that it wouldn't be around if there was no little computer people, and that's why it's so special.
There's no justice in this world.
No justice, but I implore anyone that hasn't heard of it to look it up and research it, because it was absolute genius. And I'm just lucky that I came across it as a child, and it holds that place for me.
Totally. And it says here that the character was always male, but except on the Japanese version where you could get a female.
Wow. Well, there you go. Yeah, I did have it was a little male friend, which was fine with me. I wasn't into girls back then. I've never seen a Japanese version. Fantastic. But yeah, something I might look into. But my God, there's enough virtual girlfriends in Japan now, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a bit more advanced than what that one would have been.
Oh my God. Yeah. We watch this channel sometimes called NHK, this Japanese channel. Oh my God. Most men in that country have got more virtual, they're more into virtual women than they are real women.
No, at least the virtual women can't talk back to them.
Yeah, very good point. Well, mind you, they probably can now. They probably release a little download where you can start arguing with them.
Artificial intelligence.
One that rinses your bank account.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and so we're sticking with the Spectrum here for your next game, and it's a game called Flunky, which can also sometimes be known as Mad Flunky.
Yeah, Flunky was incredible. I mean, for the time, I thought the graphics were absolutely incredible, and you had these massive, big, blocky sprites on the screen that they'd really done well to get on the Spectrum for that point in time. And you were this butler, and you had to do certain tasks for the royal family. I don't think this was sanctioned by the royal family at all, but it was brilliant. You could Fergie, Sarah Ferguson, bless her, she was still in the royal fold at that time, before it all went tits up. You could get her freckles. You had to actually physically put her freckles on her, and so your task was to get her freckles. And it was bizarre, absolutely bizarre. But you ran around the palace and you did all these chores, and you had to get like this red eye, and then you had to get some bombs and put it back, and then you'd have to time everything just right so the bomb would explode in Fergie's face. Wow, imagine that. And the red paint would go up in the air and land on her face, and hey presto, she'd have freckles.
And that, in actual fact, is a real story about how she got her freckles as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's an education.
Yeah.
I was turned into Greg Wallace there. I almost did my Greg Wallace impression. That is lovely. Absolutely lovely. I could eat a bucket of that. So that's MasterChef. Okay. So let me finish this in Greg Wallace's voice, actually. So basically, after that, you had to get the queen. You had to get her corgi. You had to go into the garden, and you had to find them, and you had to coax them out with a hot dog. But no, actually, it was really cool. It was, I can't remember all of them. I think it was Prince Andrew. Oh my God, Prince Andrew, Fergie, the Queen. The Queen was the last stage. I did a Greg Wallace again. The Queen was the last stage. Who else was there? I don't think Prince Philip was in it, just for obvious reasons. Or Prince. What's the other one? The one that never had a job in his life.
Andrew?
The other one.
Edward.
Oh my God, yeah, that one. He was a bit funny, wasn't he? I don't think he was in it, or he was probably, in the dole queue. But it was great. I loved it for the fact that the graphic incredible for a Spectrum. I thought it broke new ground in terms of the way the sprites were on the screen, and it was such fun. Oh my God, it was such fun. Flunky on the Spectrum, brilliant. And again, a reason I picked it was just because I thought for the time it was groundbreaking. I'm
looking at a screenshot of it just now, and there's a character in it that in a little red jacket, but it's a big blue. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a guard, but the hat's blue, so it actually looks exactly like Marge Simpson.
Well, yeah, I think they had problems with certain colours and stuff, and it was probably supposed to be like a royal guard or something, wasn't it? So like yeah. But oh my God, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely, I loved it. ZX Spectrum Flunky. You play these games as a child, and they stay with you. They stay with you forever. And
absolutely.
That one has. So I had to put it in there. Absolutely had to put it in there.
This is what I loved about a lot of these old style games. One of my favourite games is the same. The developer is not a company, it's just like a person's name. This was developed by Don Priestley.
Oh, I remember him, yeah.
And it's published by Piranha Games.
Right, Piranha. Yeah, I remember Piranha. Yeah.
I like that when you don't see that anymore. You don't see like developed by John Latimer or whatever somebody's name.
No, definitely not. And I think this Flunky. I'm looking at it now as well. You had Charles, yeah, and he was on his polo horse. Oh, it's great. I'm just looking at the loading screen. Even the loading screen was impressive, and it opened up for other games like Trapdoor, which then started to use really big, chunky sprites.
Yeah.
And I think it was a time when the Spectrum really started putting out some cracking games just towards the end of its life.
Was Prince Di in it?
God rest his soul. I don't know. I don't remember.
It probably. I think she probably was. Just having a look at it now, just to see if she was. But she was definitely in the fold back then. She was definitely mixed. So I think yes, Diana, Princess of Wales. Yes, it was. Yes, she was. Prince of Wales, Charles, Diana, the Duke of York, the Duchess of York, and the Queen.
Cool.
There you go.
It was only ever released for Spectrum, Commodore 64, and Amstrad.
Yeah. There you go. Prince Andrew. Wow, he's 54 now.
Is he really? Jeez. Oh.
Yeah. Getting on.
Yeah.
What does he do? Yeah.
I'm beginning to think that Prince Charles, I know we'll go off topic, Prince Charles will never get a shot at being a king. I think the Queen's going to just go as long as she can, so it can go straight down to William.
Yeah, that's right. They all say she's going to bin him off, after the whole Diana thing. Which is, I think that's right. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not much of a royalist, but yeah, I think you'll see. Yeah, it'll be William next, most definitely. Definitely. Some excuse, won't there? They'll make some bull excuse about he can't, he's too ill or something, and William will take it definitely, and he'll be a good king.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Anyway, moving on to the third game, and we're moving on in years now. We're getting to the late 80s, and we're moving on to the Amiga, and it's a game called It Came From the Desert Island Games.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, broke new ground for that genre indeed, and one of the game that really captured my imagination. Really, fantastically written story. So they had some fantastic writers. A real, it's taken, it was sort of a take on a B movie. Big giant ants in the desert. The soundtrack was absolutely phenomenal. Made the goosebumps. It gave me goosebumps. Made the back of my neck stand up. Back of my neck stand up. Hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I had hair. And again, it was absolutely so atmospheric. As I say, from the soundtrack to the characters, it made it believable, even though it wasn't a believable story in terms of huge giant ants. Mind you, anything's possible in this world now. It really did frighten the life out of me. And for a game to do that, I knew it was pretty special, really special. Incredible.
Cool. And it got later got ported to the Mega Drive and the TurboGrafx of all systems.
Can you believe it? What weird ports? It really wasn't a game that was meant for a console. That was probably So I didn't see it on those formats, but I remember it on the Amiga. You had to have a 1 meg Amiga for it to happen. You couldn't have an Amiga 500. No, there was me again. Talking to my mum and dad. I need an Amiga 1000. I don't want an Amiga 500. I need to play It Came From the Desert. They both looked at me like I was mental. But in the end, I ground them down, and I got my 1 meg upgrade, which you put in the bottom of the Amiga, and we prayed that it worked. Fantastic! It was so good. I even now, I'll watch it on YouTube, like someone playing it long play. I won't sit there for the whole 5 hours, but I'll watch little segments of it, and it's a joy. It really is a joy.
I can see a pattern there, that you on your mum and dad for for better systems, then pestering people to go on Gamesworld.
I felt sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I felt sorry for my mum and dad because if it wasn't a Spectrum, it was a Commodore 64. If it wasn't a Commodore 64, it was an Amiga. And then I wanted a Super Nintendo. Then I wanted, a PlayStation. Then I wanted, and by that time I was old enough to buy my own, obviously, PlayStation and my own PS2 and so on and so forth. But, yeah, I do feel for my mum and dad back then. Just when they thought I was happy, something else came out. But that's the way technology was advancing back then. But, I had to earn it, don't get me wrong, but I was spoiled and but as I say, I was a quiet kid. I used to just, immerse myself in those games and I didn't cause trouble and I just wanted to stay at home and play on my computer, which is probably why I'm a recluse now. But thank God, I'm a recluse that has also got a family and so, yeah, not too much hidden away in a cave, but I do feel for my mum and dad. I did put them through quite an expensive road.
I wanted either a Commodore 64 or an Amstrad.
And what did you get, John?
An Atari 65XE. So it's like I wasn't like I want this and I want that. When I got it, I just kind of went and quietly sulked about it in my room. I didn't let them know. It sounds really ungrateful when you say it, right now. But in hindsight, I've got such good memories in that little system. It wasn't a Commodore 64. It was a poor man's Commodore 64, but still loved it.
No, you still loved it. I never used to say I want. I just used to go, oh, the Amiga can do that. When there used to be an advert on TV or something or that, and then my mum would be like, what's an Amiga? I was like, oh, it's a new computer. Oh yeah, it's better. It's way better than the one I've got. Mum, if you could imagine my computer, yeah, right. Yes, Robert. Yeah, it's 10 times better than the one I've got, and then I'd just do that for 6 months. And then it was never. Oh, please, can I have it? Please, can I have it? I was a very clever child. I don't know what happened in adult life, but I was definitely a very clever child.
So you went downhill a little bit there. I'm only joking.
Yeah, no, please, by all means.
No, I remember being at school. They kind of after getting my computer and we were talking. My friends go, "Oh, what kind of computer have you got?" And one would say, "I've got a Commodore," and another would say, "I've got a Spectrum." Right, what you got, John? Atari 65XE. What's that?
Well, you were unique, John. That's the main thing.
Yeah, well, certainly. You still am.
You still are, indeed. You're a very handsome man, and you stood out from the crowd, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, indeed. And ironically, I would really like to get an Atari 65XE again to relive my childhood.
Definitely. I mean, I love this. I love picking up retro stuff, and I just bought Joshua a GameCube. I'm just revisiting some games that I missed back in only just 10, 11 years ago, and I'm absolutely having a ball with it. Absolutely having a ball.
I've just got and for the purists, they probably hate this, right? But I've just got an Xbox, original Xbox, but it's been soft modded, so it's got
lovely.
It's got 4,500 games on it.
Oh, fantastic! That's the way to go, mate. That's the way to go. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got a PS3 with 21 brand new games on it. Don't ask me how I got them, but they're all on the hard drive.
Brilliant. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm getting to play some of these games I would have only dreamed of playing back in the days, and in games that I never thought I would have the opportunity to play. And it's good because anytime people mention games on Desert Island Games, I'll say, "Oh, I've not played it, but I can now go and play it. More than likely, it will have it." So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. Good for you. Just I hope you got enough hours in the day to play them all, because I know I don't.
Well, that's the problem. But I spent the whole weekend on it this weekend.
Good man.
That would be an opportunity because my wife was down and visiting her family in England, so I had a whole house to myself. So.
Oh, fantastic! Good for you. No, why not get a bit of that time in?
Yeah. Bit of quality me time. Anyway, moving on to the next game.
What's number 4?
Number 4 is Street Fighter 2.
It has to be there just for the fact that, again, I played so much of that on Gamesworld, and it was a part of my teenage life that was there, and I remember first seeing Street Fighter in a shop in Harrow, where was an area where I grew up near. and there was a shop called Calamity Comics, and they had a version of Street Fighter 2 in there, and we used to go there every Saturday, me and an old friend, and we used to go there, and the machine would be occupied, and the winner stayed on, and there was this black guy called Duke, who was like a bit of a whiz on Street Fighter 2, and he never came off it. And if you got to play Duke, it was a big moment. If you could beat this Duke in Calamity Comics in Harrow, you were going somewhere. You were known. They were going to be whispers about you around Harrow. So I used to go, and I used to really, really struggled against him, and I didn't have my techniques down, but I used to play as Blanca, and he would always be Ken or Ryu, and I took a round off him, and everyone was buzzing, and and it had a few times where I took a round off him, but I never beat him, not ever. And in 1992, this was before Electric Eddie was born. Electric Eddie would have kicked his ass, especially under the lights and the cameras, and where the pressure meant everything. But this was in Calamity Comics Harrow, so I never did beat Duke, bless him, wherever he is. He's probably 40 now with responsibilities and a mortgage. But back then, playing Duke on Street Fighter 2, wonderful time. Street Fighter 2, fantastic game. Again, paved the way for beat 'em ups, didn't it? I mean, think about it. Yeah. They're still making Street Fighter to this day. So many games tried to better it. You had so many different copies of it around 1993, 94 when the Super Nintendo was around. They made a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters game, which was very good. The anime guys got on top of it and made Ranma Half, which was another beat-em-up one-on-one, shameful Street Fighter clone, but again, really, really cool to play. And then you had the games that would still stay side-on, but would emulate the same sort of style, like Tekken came along, and truly, and it spawned some fantastic replicas, and Tekken went on to be incredibly successful, as did Virtua Fighter. And again, Street Fighter 2 was the one. That made it all happen. So many different characters to select, so many different strengths and weaknesses and combos, and a real skill. It wasn't just mindless bash the buttons. You had to be skilled. If you were a skilled player, you were going to do well on that game, and you were going to be hard to beat. If you learn a character, like some people learn Guile, with the handcuff maneuver. And I used to play quite on Gamesworld. I used to play quite unpredictable characters. I used to play like Honda, and everyone would be like, why is he playing Honda? No one would touch Honda. Well, every character was there for a reason. If you mastered that character, you were lethal.
So who was your favourite character?
I used to like to play on Gamesworld. I used to play Honda a lot. Yeah. Because I could chain moves together, and I could throw somebody, and as they were getting up, I would 100 hand slap. So even if they were going to block it, they were going to lose a ton of energy if you knew what you were doing. And I never lost as Honda on Gamesworld, and I enjoyed inflicting copious amounts of damage. I just played Dulcim. I didn't think the bosses were good playable characters. I don't think they had the balance. Capcom had to made the bosses playable just by popular demand. They were like, oh Jesus, we'll have to do something to keep the franchise fresh. So they made Championship Edition and let them, everyone play as the bosses. But it didn't work. They weren't as well balanced. Bison and Vega and Sagat, they weren't the same, characters. They didn't have the same sort of effect. Still, you could get some very good players with them, and you could, get your ass kicked. But I don't think that they had the depth of play that the original 8 did.
I've heard a lot of stories about people have told about Street Fighter, like they used to play Street Fighter to decide things like whose turn is it to do dishes? Let's go give a Street Fighter to decide.
like the modern day coin toss.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it had to be in there for me. Again, it's an institution for me growing up, and I learnt I was responsible for a lot of my games playing skills that game, and I've got a lot of time for it, and it's everything I remember about the 90s, Street Fighter.
Yeah, I totally respect that it's the best, probably the best fighter out there, and I won't argue with that point. However, my favourite fighting game was Mortal Kombat 2. It's controversial.
Yeah, no, it was just again, it's just a massive part of my gaming life.
Yeah, it's definitely a massive part of. I keep going to say Odd Job Eddie for some reason. Electric Eddie.
Yeah, Electric Eddie made his debut playing Street Fighter as Honda, so again, Honda Street Fighter, my very first game, holds a special place naturally.
Yeah, that is. I mean,
it's emotional.
Yeah, it's. Move on before you get too emotional.
Yeah, let's please.
Yeah.
Please.
Right. The next game is another SNES game, and it's one called Pilot Wings.
Pilot Wings, yeah, fantastic. For me, probably one of the best releases on the Super Nintendo when the machine launched. But again, probably overlooked because of Super Mario 4 and Final Fight, which were really taking all the glory back then. I think Pilot Wings was sort of the second wave 2 of the new releases. Pilot Wing, in Japan, I had a Japanese Super Famicom, so I couldn't wait for the Super Nintendo. No. I have to have a Super Famicom Japanese import. Oh yes,
of course.
Of course. And
well, not surprised. Going with your previous stories, I'm not surprised about that.
Well, there you go. And you see, and so I had that, and obviously I was very Pilot Wings. I bought the SNES with Final Fight, which was a great port, fantastic, and Super Mario 4. But the game that captured my imagination was Pilot Wings. Just incredible. The control, the feeling of jumping out of the plane, and the mechanics of it. It used the Mode 7 that the SNES had. It took advantage of the new software that we'd never seen before. So things could spin around, and things were scaling, and things were coming at the screen. The runways were getting closer. It was a power that we hadn't seen before from the 8-bit from the other generation, from the Sega Master System, Sega Mega, even the Sega Mega Drive never had that kind of power. So it was wonderful, and the controls were just simply beautiful. And from skydiving to hang gliding to flying the light plane. Everything was spot on. It was a 10 out of 10 game. Absolutely wonderful. So Japanese in its presentation, again, which made it all that more niche and all the more special for me. And I remember playing it as a 14, 15-year-old, and it just gave me a lot of And even to this day, the first thing I'll go to if I want to play on my SNES emulator on the PC is Pilot Wings. I play it over and over and over again, and you can keep Nintendo 64 Pilot Wings. You can keep, the SNES version will never be bettered. It will never be bettered. You can put more different graphics on it. You can put whatever you like on it. You can chuck up 10 billion pixels at the screen for all I care. Nothing will beat SNES Pilot Wings for playability and originality. Wonderful.
Well, it's only really come out for the SNES. It's been re-released on Virtual Console on the Wii and the Wii U. But yeah, it's only really a SNES game anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, and they did Pilot Wing 64, which I don't think had any, which again had a modicum of success because of the name value. And I played that version, and it's fine. But the simplicity of Pilot Wings is a joy to behold.
Well, the next time I get my old Xbox on, I'll load it up and give it a go.
You do that, John.
I'll see what all the fuss is about.
And when you see that Mode 7 spinning around, you think of me.
I will think of you.
Good man.
Brilliant choice
what's next?
again.
What's next? Talk to me.
I think we're up to number 5 or 6.
Lovely.
I can't remember.
Lovely.
I always lose count. Anyway, next one, I believe, is Super Mario Kart on the SNES as well.
Yeah, again, a game that has spawned so many games that have followed suit. You can name every character in video game history, and I think it's got its own karting game. And it's because of Super Mario Kart and those geniuses at Nintendo. Best £40 I ever spent was definitely one of those. Was Super Mario Kart, and I played it from 1992 to up through Gamesworld. I never played it on Gamesworld, but I did appear on Gamesworld one of the earlier seasons, giving tips and advice on how to get round quickly. And Nintendo, in true genius fashion, made all the characters different, their own different ways. Bowser was much heavier, but once he got up to top speed, he was the fastest in the game, but it was very hard to master the cornering. They made, Mario and Luigi were average players, whereas Yoshi was very light, great, easy to control, but not very powerful. And it's a groundbreaking game. I mean, come on. They've just made Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, which is absolutely fantastic. And the other day I went on my lunch into Toys R Us and I played it. I thought, I'm going to get one of these Wii U's. So I played it and I thought, oh, this is great. And it was fantastic. Yeah. And I looked down at my watch and it was 2:15 and I was late. Oops. And I was 15 minutes late for lunch, but it doesn't matter. I'm a regional manager. I can do what I like. So, and I thought, hey, I'm late, but it's me that I'm late for myself. So I didn't care. So I got back to my desk and I just thought, well, that was an hour and a half well spent. And then I went on YouTube and Facebook some more and did a little bit of work, about an hour's work after that, and then I come home. But and the other day at work, I sat and watched long play It Came from the Desert for an hour. And that's the beauty of it. But the thing is, Mario Kart is again. Crash Bandicoot Racing, Sega All Stars Racing, Sonic Racing. You could count on so many hands how many different copies there's been of a Mario Kart game. But Mario Kart have done it, and they've done it again with Mario Kart 8. It's absolutely fantastic, and it absolutely wheezes on anything else that's tried to get close to it. But the first original game, again, I could play that all day long. Got all the time in the world for it. Nothing will beat the simplicity. The simplicity. There's no simplicity in games anymore. That was an absolute, absolute blinder. I loved it.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Go on.
I was going to say Little Big Planet Carton is another recent example of a copying Super Mario.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't talk. I'm struggling now. Can we move on to the next game?
I was just going to say, I will move on to the next game, but one thing I was just going to say, finishing up on that, is I remember when Super Mario Kart 8 came out a couple months ago, whatever, that's all you've seen on YouTube and Facebook was Super Mario Kart 8 comments. So let's do a race, let's do this, long plays, blah 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 blah.
I think people ruin it. I don't want to see. You got all these American guys out there, and they play all these games, and they record it, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Zach Scott Games here. Today we're going to be playing Super Mario Kart 8. We're going to do the Big Boo circuit. So, let's go. Oh, here I am as Wario. Oh, I just got hit. Oh man. Oh, I better get back on the track. Hold on, let's just wait for Koopa to put me back on the track. Oh, here we go again, guys. Oh no, I got hit by a red shell. I mean, go and do one, mate." Do you know what I mean? Who wants to see that? I mean, and it's all day long. And my son, bless him, he loves watching games. He loves watching other people play them because for him it's like playing it. So he looks at all these new games and he's like, Dad, I want that. But all these guys that have got these YouTube channels and all they do is play the newest games. It spoils it. I mean, like I had Watch Dogs for the PS3, and I looked on YouTube, and some guy has just got a walkthrough of every level. Yes. I mean, go if you want a guide or something, go on Game FAQ or that and get the text and go through it yourself. But why? It's just countless hours of gaming time, and you're going to sit there and watch the guy do it, and then you're going to do it. Yeah. Where's the fun in that? You'll not find the likes of that on my channel. On my channel, it's all 10-minute quick plays of old games. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's what you want to see. Yeah. But nobody wants to see, some American arse clock the game so that you can clock the game. I don't get it. What are you supposed to do? Play on your computer, play on your console, and have YouTube running at the same time, so you can, as he's doing it, you can do it. Is that the premise of it? Because if it is, then I don't want to know. So, but it's unbelievable. But as I say, I don't want to watch Mario Kart 8. I want to play it myself. Thanks. Yeah, I do a walkthrough series where I walk through a different game
I go through one game and I go through another game, but it's not. You wouldn't use my game as a walkthrough because I'm crap at games. It's just me playing it and making an idiot of myself, and I just do it one at a time. So and it's old game. It's always old games. So I'm currently doing Monkey Island 2.
Wow, fantastic games! I could have actually put Monkey Island in one of my Desert Island games, but the thing is. I like to see the new games as well on YouTube, but only little clips of it with with someone talking about when it's coming out or this is this level, but not a full not part 1 of the walkthrough, part 2 of the walkthrough, part 3 of the walkthrough. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sick of seeing like Minecraft and Call of Duty.
Oh my god,
they're the 2 worst culprits, aren't they?
They are, but I'm not a COD fan. Sorry, anyone who's listening. No, it's not my. I'm not that type of gamer.
Somebody sent me a tweet, just some random person. I don't know where it came from. Hey there, great channel you've got there. Please come and watch my Minecraft videos.
Yeah. Why don't you, John?
Yeah.
You got nothing better to do, have you?
Oh no. Listen, I've got Minecraft. And I don't even play it myself. Never mind watch somebody else play it. Oh, you'll have to,
you'll have to send me the link to that later. Because instead of watching Ray Donovan in bed with my wife, I think I'll go and watch the Minecraft guy.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, I'll retweet it.
Yeah, do. Thank you.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next game, and we're getting a little bit more modern, although still retro.
Yep.
So, actually, it's a longer time ago than what I realised. But anyway, it's a PS1 game, and it's a classic survival horror. You'll guess what it is. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 1, again on the PlayStation, was by far the most atmospheric game I've ever played. Yeah, of course the storyline was panned out. You couldn't really have any... You could actually... The endings were different depending on what you did and what character you used and what decisions you made. So there was a little bit of element of freedom, even though the game wasn't completely open. It wasn't open world at all. But it gave you that sense that, if one of the characters died, the ending was going to be different. There was a lot of longevity in it. But in terms of what Capcom did, I mean, I remember seeing Resident Evil, a demo, a music demo of it. I had a game called Street Fighter Alpha, and it came with the demo of Resident Evil, and back then it was Biohazard Japanese version, and it looked unbelievable, and had this amazing Japanese soundtrack. And then I waited for it to come out, but I waited for the English version and American version, and it came out, and what Capcom did, no one expected that off Capcom. After all the beat-em-ups and that, they were only known for one thing, really, side-on beat-em-ups, and a few other bits and pieces that they dabbled with, but they'd obviously invested the time and the money to do this project, and unbelievable. When I said atmosphere on It Came From the Desert, this just blew it out of the water, obviously. It was Next Generation. The music, the soundtrack score, the atmosphere, the suspense of hearing a zombie but you couldn't see it eating away at someone, and the shuffling, and it was terrifying. It was unbelievably terrifying. Unlike any film, I don't get scared on any film I've ever watched. My wife's like, "Have you seen The Grudge? Let's watch The Grudge together." And all of those films did nothing for me. The most on edge I've ever been was playing Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation. Again, broke incredible ground, opened up gateways for other games to follow suit, and it really was a trendsetter. Yeah. And now we've got so many survival horror games. It opened up Silent Hill, and The Last of Us. None of these games would be around if it wasn't for Resident Evil. And in fact, none of the zombie craze probably would be around if it wasn't for Resident Evil, because they truly brought zombies back on the map. Zombies weren't cool back in 1994, 95. No, they weren't. Definitely no. But what have you got now? You had all the films, Resident Evil Extinction. Then all of a sudden you've got The Walking Dead. Then you've got, then you've got all these other games. Then you've got all these other spin-offs. Unbelievable. That is why I picked it, because not only was it tremendous, but look what it's done for the genre of zombies. Well, zombies everybody's going mental for zombies now. Everything zombies these days. Yeah, I know. You and me need to create some sort of zombie app and make a few million, because that would be great. Let's talk about that after the show. Yeah. But it opened up survival horror games. and then it did unbelievable things for zombies. Dead Rising, all of these games wouldn't be anywhere without this game. So I tip my hat to it. I've also heard that a new version of Resident Evil HD is going to be released on the PlayStation Store. It's going to be a little bit of a rejig of the GameCube version, which was very, very good, and it's going to be just more crisper graphics. And I, for one, will be getting that because absolutely wonderful. Loved every minute of playing it multiple times, and nothing ever bettered it for me in terms of suspense. Nothing.
Were you brave enough to play it with the lights off?
Yeah, no. I kept the lights on in my bedroom. No, I did. I think I did. I was that much of a pussy.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's actually quite a popular choice on Desert Island Games. That's come up quite a few times.
Yeah. For me, it just everything. I think every game I've picked, for me, broke ground, or it did something that set off a chain reaction even 10, 20 years later.
Yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant game. Classic. As you say, it spawned films and all sorts, didn't it? So
it spawned everything. And I say zombies wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for I truly believe that. And if anyone wants to argue with me, then bring it on.
Yeah. Sorry if you heard some noise in the background a minute ago. Some of my cats knocked something over. So
quite all right. I hope you've reprimanded them in a suitable fashion.
I will do that after the show.
Please.
That's the Desert Island cats.
Yes, of course. How could we forget them? The contribution they've made this evening, and even come on the broadcast. Fantastic. Yeah, so
you might hear one of them meowing in the background actually. So
well, let's hope so. Let's get them on one of my music tracks. I mean, let's go all out.
Yeah. I mean, if it's good enough for the Prodigy, it's going to be good enough for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm open to new sounds. Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on to the next game?
Yes.
The last game, in actual fact.
Yes.
It's Super Mario 64.
There's not enough superlatives for this game. I am kind of, there's the nostalgic fact of when I played it when I was, younger, and there's the nostalgic fact that I play it with my son now, and he absolutely loves it, and it captured so much imagination, and again, it truly the 3D world it opened on the Nintendo. The Nintendo 64 was made for that game.
Yeah.
There was nothing that came along that bettered it, and that game on that console was as good as it got, even though it was the launch game. It really was, and it still stands up to. You could play that game today, and the control system, the graphics, everything. I don't think it is dated. I don't think it feels dated. It really is just it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is a masterpiece of a game. It completely changed. Nintendo realized we can't keep doing side forever, side scrollers. So they opened this world up, this true world, and it spawned a million spin-offs. But Mario 64 remains incredible, and then they bettered it in terms of technicality with the Galaxy games, which are incredible. But for me, 64 is where the chain began. And wow, I mean, I was playing it just the other day, and it's still very challenging. Some of those later levels are incredibly tough. I'm playing it on keyboard, but believe me, I've managed to get up to 53 stars on the keyboard, and now I just cry for a gamepad. But Josh, it absolutely it captured my son's imagination so much. Yeah. Joshua, he absolutely loves it, and it's a game that's wholesome. Again, it's something that I can show to him, and he can play and enjoy it, and it's so innocent and wonderful. I'm getting all soppy, but it really doesn't need in this game today, in the industry today, when it's all sex and it's all cutting people's heads off and it's all this and it's that. Yeah. That game speaks volumes for itself. It just did everything that you wanted it to do, and it's a true games playing experience. I will play it probably till the end of time. I'll always have time for it. I'll always go in, and I might always do a level or a quick mission. It was wonderful.
So you could say that's one game that you couldn't bear to be without if you were stranded on a desert island then?
It's one game that I could what?
One game you couldn't do without if you were stranded on a desert island?
I think it would, it's up there, which is, why I've picked it. It's something that I can go back to at any time. I'm going to dip into it now. I always do on the emulator, and I'll play it with Josh, and I'll do the big ball. I'll beat Cooper up the hill, or I'll put the snowman back together, and it's just like it's so familiar, but it's such fun still, and the soundtrack again is second to none, and my goodness. Just thinking about it, it's truly it was truly a remarkable piece of software, and as I say, so many different games tried to do it after that. You had a Rayman version, you had Spyro the Dragon, all games like that, all tried to take from it, and rightly so. And they've all been successful in their own right. But the genius that is Nintendo, it's again, it will never be bettered. It will never be bettered. It's wonderful.
It's a timeless classic.
Well, you said it. You said it, John.
And it's funny because I think a lot of N64 games look really dated, but that one, as you say, like Rachel said, doesn't really look dated.
No, it doesn't. I mean, obviously it's a bit rough around the edges with its polygons and everything, but, at the end of the day, there were so many games on the Nintendo 64 that just bombed after that. It really did. They didn't take advantage of its 3D capabilities, and they tried... I was working in a video game shop at the time when the N64 was out, and they did the most horrific, driving games. The software just couldn't, the hardware just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't stick to what they were good at with that machine. And games like Pilot Wings, GoldenEye, Zelda were all very, very good because they utilized that magic that made Mario's engine so good. But when they tried to release a beat 'em up or a car game or it absolutely bombed. And I say it never got any better than Mario 64. And that's the beautiful curse of the N64 because its launch game was never bettered.
Yeah.
And that's sad because I think it deserves to be remembered for more, but really you buying that console for that game, and that's all I'd ever play on it. That is all I'd ever play on it.
I wonder how many systems can have that said about it. The launch game had never been bettered.
Well, that's right. That's right. It's an interesting one that we could look at, but it's for me that's absolute truth.
Cool. Did you complete it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but no, I didn't 120 star it, but I completed it. I did it. I got to about 91 stars, and I thought, I'm not the kind of guy that will go and play every star or every mission on GTA or every. I'll complete the game, and that's good enough for me. Ta-da! I'm on to the next one. I've got other things to do, mate. You know what I mean? Well,
you've got a life. a life.
We've all got lives, but I love clocking a game, but I don't do it to the hilt. I just haven't got that time.
Well, apart from when you're on your lunch break, of course.
Well, of course. Well, if I could have stayed in Toys R Us for longer, I should have. Could have, and should have.
Could have and should have.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go back in there tomorrow as well.
Oh well, that's your 8 games.
Well, there you go. Well, I hope they were. I hope you understand why I chose them, and I hope they weren't too boring, but safe. But for me, they play a significant part in video game history.
At the end of the day, it's your island, it's your games. So whether they're boring or exciting, that's up to you.
It's my show tonight.
Yes. It's Electric Eddie's show tonight.
Yeah, bless him. He's somewhere out there.
The other part of the choices is you get to pick a book and a luxury item. I believe from chatting to you earlier on that you're not really a book person, so.
No, I'm not very well educated, so I don't read much. But at the end of the day, I'm just not a booky type of person. Yeah, I've read books and stuff, and some sci-fi, and so if I read anything, I'll read autobiographies of people that I find interesting. But I never really revisit books. Again, life just doesn't work like that for me. Yeah. I'm a very busy man, so I would take something that, as I said to you, I would take an encyclopedia of the world, and I would fulfill my knowledge, and I would feed my brain with things that I never got round to learning in school, or that I've never got round to looking at now, because it would keep my brain active and working, and I think I would be a lot wiser. I wouldn't have anybody to share the knowledge with, but at least I would be like, oh, that's why the sun shines. I always wondered why. So I think, for that reason, as boring as a choice as it may be, I'd like to learn about the birds and the bees again, and how sperm whale mate, and I'd like to know why monkeys swing from trees, and all sorts of lovely things like that. And I would see it as a great boon to fulfill my brain with such knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant choice, and actually, on the Real Desert Island Discs show, that's quite a popular pick as an encyclopedia.
Well, there you go. There you go. Great minds think alike, John.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about your luxury item then?
My luxury item would be probably a bench press and a few dumbbells. I think I'd like to keep in shape. If I'm on a desert island and it's sunny and I work on my tan, I might as well keep the whole body in good nick. I've been a not bodybuilder, but I've weight trained for about 17, 18 years now. Pretty much after the Electric Eddie stuff, I started to build up my body, and I've not got the most fantastic genetics in the world, but I try to keep in shape, and I try to keep a little bit of tone and a little bit of size on, nothing over the top, because of injuries and as I say, I'm 38 now, and certain things don't recover the way they used to. Yeah. Even though I go in the gym or I lift weights and I feel like I'm 23, I'm not. And I get bad pain in one of my heels, which I've got an injection in September, and I've got bad tennis elbow in my right arm, which restricts me from doing certain movements, so I have to just keep the stuff quite simplistic and compound. So I think I would take a workout bench and just keep the exercises nice and simple. Do some curls on the old arms, do some bench presses, keep the shoulders, pecs, and the triceps in shape. And I'd run about in the sand just to keep my legs going okay, because but yeah, fitness has always been something that I was quite disciplined in, and I think it's great to work on. Everybody's got their own discipline, but I always like to keep my body quite strong, and I wouldn't like to vegetate on a desert island. I'd like to stay quite active and ready to swim into the water if a ship ever sailed by. So I'd want to be able to be strong enough to ride the tide and get my ass back onto proper civilization. So I think it's just been something that I've always been not obsessed with, but I've always wanted to look decent and keep a good appearance and a fit appearance. And unfortunately, over the last year, I haven't been as consistent, and I've been married almost 4 years, and sometimes my wife's like, do you want to get a pizza? And I'm like, all right. And then she's like, oh, do you fancy a McDonald's? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. And, I think we've led each other a little bit astray over the last couple of years, but we try, and I'm still weight training. I'm weight training again, and she's doing her fitness. She likes to keep fit. But yeah, I definitely want to. I definitely have that on the island with me, just to keep myself sane. I wouldn't want to waste away.
Cool. Oh, that's good thinking. That's good thinking. The strategy. So as you say, if a ship comes along, you're strong enough to swim out there.
Yeah, that's right. And who knows if there are some pygmies on the island, and all of a sudden they discover me, and all of a sudden I see like all these six people from a jungle village looking at me. I want to be buff, so that I can like stare them out and be like, hey, I'm not easy pickings for you. Come on then. You know, they might want to put me in a pot and boil me. So I've got to be ready. I've got to be like, you know, I've got to be like Tom Selleck in this. Yeah. You know, I need to be strapped. So yeah, definitely.
And likewise, if you happen to see some naked Amazon women, you know, come out, you want to be looking your best for them.
If we have to, I mean, if we're gonna, you know, if we're the only 2 humans left, I mean, I've got to do what I've got to do.
You repopulate the island.
That's right. I mean, and and as I say, you know, maybe it won't, you know, maybe it might not be blessed with my genetics, but hopefully the Amazonian woman will, he'll get the baby will get the best of her. Like my son, thank God, my son has Georgina's genetics. I'm 5'6", and you know, he's a big strapping lad, and she's Irish, and Josh looks like he takes after her side of the family. He's a very muscular child. It's really weird. He's got pecs and abs, and he's got massive bulging calves, and you put him next to another kid of his age, and they've got stick legs, and I've never seen a physique like my child's. Not that I'm bragging or anything, but he's an incredibly powerful boy, touch wood, and he's going to be probably either a mixed martial artist or some sort of athlete, because he just looks that way inclined. He's absolutely hulking. And thank God he doesn't get that from me. 5'6" of me. I'm not skinny though. That's the main thing.
I can't help thinking when you were talking about that. I can't help thinking about that episode of Family Guy. I don't know if you watch it, when Stewie was in steroids. You know, the baby.
Yes. Look how vascular I am, Brian. Yes. Oh, it's yes.
What was it? Oh, Stewie,
Steroids.
Yes, steroids.
That episode was called.
Yes, look how vascular I am, Brian. Yeah.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
So, I'm going to sprint this one on you, this 1-minute thins.
Go on.
I mean, we should have thought of it earlier before we started, but what do you think Electric Eddie would take as a luxury item?
Electric Eddie is a luxury item.
What would you take?
What would he take as a luxury item?
Yeah.
Onto the desert island? Not sun cream, obviously, because of the mask. You know, he's well protected. Obviously, he can't afford to have his burns exposed, so he'd keep the mask on. So no suntan cream. I think Eddie would. Whoa, that's a real tricky one, John. Oh my goodness, probably hairspray. Yes, because obviously, you know, the electric storms might be there on the desert island if it's very tropical, but his hair was very important to him, and I think a very good, powerful hairspray like Elnet would have kept him in good shape.
Good call.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, if you remember Electric Eddie in the first 6 episodes, he had his hair, whereas after that he was made to wear some bizarre boiler suit. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
What do you want me to answer this?
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's coming. Hold on.
Yep. Sorry, John. Yeah, definitely a good hairspray. Elnet was one I used to sometimes apply myself, but we had a makeup lady. Her name was Mary, and she used to use this stuff on me called sticky stuff. And what it did, she used to put it on my hair when I had hair, and she used to use like these hot what do you call it? Like what they call them now, hair straighteners. So she used to put the product. That's what they call things now, isn't it? They go, I use product in my hair. She used to put the product in my hair, and then she used to use the hair straighteners, and then she used to pull it up. She used to pull it up, and that would give me the electric hair, and and it was called sticky stuff. And she always used to brag about how she imported it from America. And that is the products I would take to my desert island so that people would know who I was. If they were trying to screw with me, they would know exactly who I was. Yes, thanks.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, cheers for that, mate. You can go back now on your GameCube and relive your glory days. Sticky stuff was the stuff that she used, and that I think that you heard it from him. That's his item of choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still remember the smell, like watermelons.
Oh, bless him, Eddie.
Lovely. Yeah. Please God, it won't be another 20 years before we hear from him again.
Oh, I hope not. We'll make it. We'll make it sure that doesn't happen. Come on.
What a waste of a character. He could have done so much more.
He's got to live on in some form, isn't he?
You what, buddy?
He's got to live on in some form.
Yeah, absolutely. He lives on a council estate now, I've heard. No, I don't personally, but obviously I'm posh. I'm from Stanmore, but I live in Milton Keynes now.
Wouldn't it be ironic if I nearly got Alleged Eddie mixed up with Odd Job Eddie earlier? Wouldn't it be ironic if that's what he does now at Odd Jobs? He could be Odd Job Eddie.
Odd Job Eddie, yeah, man with a van, baby. If you want your TV removed, give me a call. But I can't guarantee I won't plug myself into it and cause a real problem for you. But there were loads of things I think that character could have done. And as I say, I gave scripts to them, but they didn't want to know. They didn't want to know. They whatever, man.
They're lost.
Haters.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they didn't take your ideas, reject them, but then pass them off as their own ideas.
That's right. That would have been fine by me as long as I got on as long as I got a little bit more exposure. But never mind. As I say, let's make it happen. Let's make Collectomania happen. Let's try and write to the Collectomania organisers in October who do the special guest lineup, and let's have Electric Eddie doing an autograph session. I will charge very small rates. I won't even charge. I'll just sit there amongst a guy that played a Klingon in Star Trek Next Generation, and I'll have a cup of tea, and I'll be happy to talk to all comers about my past exploits. Wow, that would be great. Collectomania.
Yay! In all seriousness, though, I mean, if we could get somebody to make you a mask, make you the mask again, you could do it. I mean, there's 2 or 3 retro games fairs every year. Like there's the Play Expo in Liverpool, Manchester. There's the Revival one in Wolverhampton. I'm sure if somebody made you a mask and you went to one of these things, people would flock to you.
Oh, well, you never know.
Sure
well, I think it will. You never know. If it's the right following, then it would be. People would. There'd be more than 3 or 4 people that would remember me. But. Oh, John, it was fun. Just to even do something like this 20 years later, it's crazy. It's just a lot of fun. I'm really, really pleased that I know I talk a lot and I can come across as quite as an arrogant personality, but really I'm very humbled by being on and being asked to come on. So I had a great time.
Yeah, I'm very honoured to have you, and I'm glad I've given you the kind of opportunity to awaken Eddie again.
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's just a lot of fun. And looking back on it all those years ago, I was just a kid who wanted to have fun. I wanted to do well, but I wanted to have fun, and I did. I definitely did. I wanted to do more than that, But I've left some sort of really weird, strange legacy for my son.
Yeah.
So, and as I say, he's going to carry on the mantle.
Yeah.
He's going to carry on. He's going to succeed in things where Daddy didn't.
Yeah, and you're still young yourself, I mean, you're the same age as me. We're still in our 30s.
Yeah, well, there you go. Check out my photos on Facebook, man. I look 27. Yeah. I get ID'd in Tesco when I want to buy wine to cook with. No, I really don't, but I did when I was 32. I got ID'd.
Look at my photos on Facebook. I look 57.
I'm gonna. My wife's coming down the stairs. Wait, this might be an impromptu marriage conversation. Hold on, we might get an exclusive. One sec. Georgina? No, I think it's my sister-in-law. She's living with us at the moment because she's come over here to study. So I've given her 3 months to sort herself out, and then I'm going to give it. No, it's nice. It's nice for my wife to have her sister here because when all her family moved back to Ireland and she stayed with me, she gave up all of her family to live with me, and then we got married, and it's lovely. It's lovely to have her sister here for a few months. No, really, it's really lovely to have her sister here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We're coming to the end.
Yes.
Before we go, I'm just going to quickly plug your YouTube channel.
By all means.
If that's okay with yourself. It's www.youtube.com/user/the RJ Nathan. So that's D as in the THE RJ Nathan. And if you go on there, you'll get clips of your days from Gamesworld. So So
Absolutely.
all the classic footage there.
The classic encounters.
So you should go and check that out. I've subscribed earlier on, so I would encourage everybody else to do the same.
It's a beautiful thing, John.
Yeah.
You know, it's a moment in time captured forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what else to say. I'm very humbled.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been Desert Island Games, episode 34, and this has been a fantastic episode with a fantastic guest, and it's been brilliant.
John, thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again, mate. For anyone that did tune in, thank you for listening, and either hit me up on YouTube or Facebook.
Yes. What is your, do you want to plug your Facebook and social things or anything?
Facebook.com/Robbie, ROBBIE Nathan, NATHAN.7. Or you can just type in Rob J. Nathan to the Facebook search, and you'll see a picture of the Teletext Electric Eddy, and then you can add my ass.
Yes. And you can catch me on JL76 Gaming on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, John. You take care.
You too. Thanks.
Everyone else have a good evening. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Robin.
mate.
Say goodbye to Eddie as well.
I will. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.